make a woman your wife, her behavior should change. But not only her behavior when it comes to how she interacts with you, but the behavior of her and what she's willing to do and how she represents you when she's not around you. Now, we have already spoken many times on how Russell Wilson has taken on a woman who Future didn't want to move in this direction with, but he left his seed behind. And when the guy says he saw her dancing in one of her videos and knew that he wanted her to be his wife, we understand that his attraction to her is all physical. But somebody sent me a video on IG of her at a public event. Looks to be a white tie event. These women are not in freakum dresses. They're not in body dresses. They're in evening gowns. And she, along with Megan Thee Stallion, are doing what black women around the world feel the need to do every time they hear music in public. Twerking. But I can almost guarantee that this is not what Russell Wilson meant when he said he liked the way his wife dances. Let's take a deep dive on this one. But first, let's elevate to a higher plane. Prepare for takeoff. Now, the reality to the scenario is this. No matter what we do as men, we always have to keep in mind that you can only trust your woman as far as you can see her. And in order to trust her when you don't see her, you have to be open to the mindset that she's going to do whatever she wants when you're not around. Either that, or you have to convince yourself that your woman isn't going to do any of those things, even though you have no proof of that fact. Now, we're in a society today where women believe that there's nothing they can do that is shameful. They believe if they feel okay doing it, then it's okay. No matter what they look like, no matter where they're from, no matter what their background is, they all seem to be caught up into twerking and shaking their derrieres in public. Millionaires, project girls, white girls, black girls, Hispanic girls, they're all into this stripper type exotic dancing in public. Here's the thing. If you're a single woman, okay, continue to live your life. But once you put your ring on a woman's finger, that should instantly affect her behavior, at least for a little while. And if you're a man who has put a woman in that position, who doesn't deserve to be in that position, then this is the type of thing you're going to deal with. And I know that some people say, well, they're just playing. They're just having a good time. That's all they're doing. You could say the same thing about anyone. You could say that guys stealing cars and joyriding are having a good time, but they're causing people heartache and turmoil. You could say anyone is just having a good time. But if your good time is hurting someone, that doesn't make it a good thing. It just makes it a good time for you. Now, I tell you men all the time that there are certain groups of women in this society who are hell-bent on making sure that women understand and believe that they don't have to be respectable in order to be respected. It's a travesty to live in a world where people believe they can do bad things and still be looked at as good. Where people believe they can do wrong things and still be looked at as right. Where people feel like they can do disrespectful things and still be looked at as respectable. People don't understand that your actions, as well as your words, have consequences and repercussions. And if we live in a society where men are putting women who don't deserve to be in a position, and these men are expecting these women to acquiesce to the demands of that position, the responsibility of that position, but they're not going to do that. Why? Because they weren't doing these things already. And if you publicly say, it's ironic that this guy not long ago publicly said he saw her dancing in one of her videos and knew he had to have her. That gave her the green light to dance. That means that she was dancing in public on her video, so he shouldn't have a problem with her dancing in public now. She's done TikTok videos with her daughter. They've been doing a little dancing. He ain't have a problem with that. But here's the thing. Being at home doing a TikTok video with your daughter is one thing. Being in your video at work, working for your fans, giving them what they want, is one thing. Being in a public setting, a formal public setting, and still twerking. You can't take them anywhere. They'll be at college twerking. They'll be at a restaurant twerking. They'll be at an industry event twerking. They'll be outside in public twerking. They'll be at the gas station twerking. They'll be on Miami Beach riding around on the hood of a car twerking. They'll be in the backyard twerking. They'll be in the front yard twerking. They'll be on the roof twerking. They'll be in the basement twerking. They'll be on the spaceship twerking. They'll be on the Greyhound bus twerking. We have gotten to a point in this society where women have lost the idea of respecting themselves. And the problem is, a woman can live this way and still find a man who will commit to her. Because men are desperate. Men are desperate to have a woman who they can believe loves them for who they are. See, here's the problem. If a woman has a certain man and she's from a certain environment and the man she wanted is the opposite of you, then you are not even her second choice. Certainly not her first choice. You're not a choice. You're an option. When you make a woman your choice, you become her option. And that's just the way it is. One person is going to be the choice, the other person is going to be the option. It's rare that two people choose each other at the same time. One person is going to be a choice. And in this particular scenario, Megan is the choice. Ciara is the choice. All of these industry women are the choice of these men. And 9 times out of 10, the man is making more money than the woman. So it's not a money thing. It's a manhood and masculinity thing. We're living in a society where men are perfectly okay with allowing women to do whatever they want to do. And these same men, when all is said and done, and they're taken to the cleaners in some type of idiotic divorce, you know what they're going to do? They're going to seek sympathy from those of us who are wise enough to not make that same mistake. I want you men to remember one thing. No matter what you think about a woman, they all have the same nature. That's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's a true thing. And that's just the reality of it. So if you're in a situation and your woman is active like this in public, there's a certain regal way that a woman should carry herself. Your woman should not represent herself in public. She should represent you in public. And the problem is, too many of you men don't even know that your wife doesn't know how to represent you. She didn't represent you when she first showed up. You've been representing her the whole time. You've been letting her be who she is. If you would let a woman be who she is and place no demands on her, she's only going to get worse. Women only respond to demands being placed on them. If you tell a woman she can get a degree and show up at class half-time, why should you think she's going to show up full-time? No. A woman works for the things that have value to her, because the people who own those things make her work for them. A woman doesn't go to school and have to work hard for a degree because she wants to. She goes because that university says this is how hard you got to work to get this degree. Now, you men always talk about how you're more valuable than her degree. You're more valuable than her career. Well, how come those things make her earn them and you don't make her earn nothing? There's no way you should have a woman in your life who didn't earn the position to be in your life. I don't care how long you know her. I don't care what kind of lies she's told you and sold you, brother. You should not have a woman in your life who hadn't put in work to prove that she deserves to be in that position in your life. And the problem is, too many of you men have just that. Too many of you men have a woman in your life, man, who has not earned anything in your life, who has not earned anything in her own life. She's been given everything. And too many of you men know for a fact that you're not a woman's first choice. You're not her second choice. You're not any choice. You're just the option who's willing to give her what she hasn't earned. If a man is engaged to marry a woman and he doesn't marry her, that means that man realized that that woman was not wife material. And Future was smart, because just like me, he don't want a wife who get out here like this. And we can talk about Future and say he's all around, bouncing around, knocking down a whole bunch of different women. Only thing I can fault him for is not strapping up, leaving all these twirly children behind him. But I can't even fault him for that if he wants the children. But he understands, and he found out one thing. When you get into a position where you're around other men with success, you realize that the women around those men will take whichever one of those men they can get. And there's always an option, because all of the men view the women the same way. So if you got a wife in that industry, there's another man in that industry who'll cut her. Why? Because he's wondering why you married her in the first place. Many men just can't accept the fact that their woman doesn't want them. She wants the things that they provide. And many of you guys would be heartbroken if you really knew how your woman felt about you. If you could be a fly on the wall when she's talking to her girls about you, you know how much of a simp she thinks you are. So to a brother like Russell Wilson, I say this. You should have known what you were getting. But since you didn't, now you got to deal with this foolishness. Your wife, mother of your children, who you've gone to bat for, who you protected from her baby daddy future, who you've taken the man's son from him. You've claimed his son and said, we don't need future. This is my son. And she's still going out in public with a single woman, doing single woman things, twerking in public. And if you watch the last part of this video, she wanted to stop. But someone said, come on, CC, you can do it. And she said, yes, I can. And there she was, twerking not once, but twice. I know Megan isn't married. I don't know if that other chick is married. But I do know Ciara is married. And I do know that Russell Wilson should be ashamed of himself for not better screening and better vetting to know exactly what he was getting. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.
What's up?